Jujutsu Kaisen is one of the best anime out right now, and to be honest, outside of One Piece, it's not even close. Every time a chapter drops, I have to activate Ultra Instinct and dodge spoilers on Twitter like Neo in the Matrix cause I'm anime only. But no matter how much I like and respect the show, I gotta keep it real. For all the greatness JJK has, the one flaw, outside of plot, is the way the show goes about its depiction of death. I'll be the first to say I have been accused of not having that dog in me because I'm not a fan of watching a show trying to play a speedrun of how many characters it can off. But hopefully with this, I will finally dodge the allegations. Yen, I do have a bias and saltiness because all of my favorite characters have either been annihilated into the ether or decimated into being handicapped, and we only just finished season 2, but I'm going to do my best to remain objective. The main protag's motivation is to help as many people as he can and die a proper death. We don't know exactly what a proper death is or will be in his eyes, but given where Yuji is now, an appropriate closure and focal point for him may actually be to allow him to properly mourn his losses and laying his comrades to rest. The proper ways like a funeral, cremation, and maybe even visiting graves. 1. The consistency, duration. In season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen, the only character that died was Junpei. Fast forward to season 2 and the list of characters that got KO'd just goes on and on and on. Both of these seasons only demonstrated both extremes on how to handle death in a storytelling aspect. From killing one irrelevant side character to many relevant characters in a short amount of time, a balance was never even close to being reached. Toji goes on a little bit of a rampage, but abruptly ends himself when he finds out his son isn't carrying on the Zenin name. Nanami is in the middle of a fight with fodder and gets snuck up on. Kugisaki gets run up and gets high-fived in the face. Some of the most important characters in the series are going out in the same amount of time it takes for me to warm up my leftover pizza. Now, I'm not saying that this is always an ineffective way to kill off a character, because for Toji, it kind of makes sense. But to do it with him coming back to life and all his resurrection and second death was shocking. But for so many characters from the main cast, it's a trope that already seems overdone. To be fair, there were still amazing fights like Sukuna versus Mahoraga and Sukuna and Jogo and even Yugi and whatever his brother's name is, but they felt far and few between. Lose-lose situation. Oftentimes in JJK characters are put in impossible to win scenarios. And when I say impossible to win, I don't mean it's just going to be really, really hard. No, I mean impossible, like a normal type Pokemon beating a ghost type Pokemon, or like anyone in my Discord beating me in a Pokemon Showdown or One Piece TCG. It's not going to happen. Major examples of this have to do with Mahito. Because of Mahito's abilities and body, only Sukuna, Yugi, Toji, Kenjaku, and maybe Kugisaki even have a chance of besting him in combat. So every time we watch someone else go against him, the fight doesn't have any real meaningful back and forth. Either he's toying with them or their attacks simply don't have any effect, which doesn't really put the readers at the edge of their seat. The best example of this is when Todo and Yugi team up to fight Mahito in season 2. But all of Todo's attacks are ineffective, even when he hits one of the most epic black flashes in the series. Whereas watching Maharaja versus Sukuna was not easy or predetermined. It's like the Joker said,
"You see, in their last moments, people show you who they really are."
In a character's last moments, oftentimes we are shown who they were and what they represent. The final chapter in their story is the totality of their character development reaching its endpoint. Great examples of anime characters going out on their own terms are Ace, Whitebeard, Corazon, Rengoku, Tengen, Jiraiya, Itachi, and so on and so forth. All of these characters were placed in very difficult, near impossible situations with essentially no way out. And to some extent they all knew it, but were still given the opportunity to make the most of their last moments and cement a legacy. In JJK, the most we are given are short flashbacks. Not every death needs to be a big spectacle, but a good mix provides a good change of pace for the audience to not predict one type of outcome. If all the death in season 2 wasn't enough, the publishers had to stop Geija from killing Gojo because of how much he hates him. Again, I understand the desire to keep both the author's readers and viewers on their feet and to induce tension into the story. But there is such a thing of too much tension, or rather you create bigger moments when you go from no tension to maximum tension. Always being a maximum tension over time can start to numb the viewer without them even realizing it. Now, on the opposite side of this extremism is One Piece, a show notorious for doing just the opposite and very rarely killing off its characters. Usually I would say that any extreme is bad, and while moderation is a preferable dosage like Naruto, I'd prefer One Piece's extreme for 2 reasons. One is a depiction of Oda's real-life philosophies on people, their dreams, and destiny. 2, there is more of a contrast and shock that is able to develop when you have a sense of security that everything will be okay rather than knowing everything won't be. Overall, audiences may become desensitized to the current style of fictional deaths, reducing their emotional impact and investment in the show's remaining and future characters. It could prove to be very beneficial for both the story and Yugi character development to explore different aspects of death outside of just quick murder.
There's no curse more twisted than love.
You wanna make an imprint, cause incident fin. My existence wasn't so clear. It's really blurry in the mirror. Regardless of how you gon' see it, I'm standing right here. Yeah.
Life is filled with unanswered questions. Wake up daily.